Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you clicking on that video as always. And today I'm excited to do really a first wear impressions and a comparison to obviously one of the king of all fragrances, Creed Aventus, one of my favorite fragrances. This is a newer batch. This is a 2021 batch and I absolutely love that scent. I understand that scent is pricey. It's expensive. You can probably get this for just over $300 for 100 ml. I can understand if you were on a budget, if you were looking for value for your money spent, especially if I own the original and what it's being modeled after. If I can offer some insight into what I think the similarities are, if they are one for one the same, don't waste your money on the more expensive fragrance, that type of thing. That's my goal with this video. So the scent we are talking about today mainly is a new release. It is from Armaf, and the scent is Club de Nuit Intense Man Limited Edition Parfum. So I'm gonna try this on skin. I've been wearing it the last 2 days, so for the purpose of this video, I'll do a spray, and I have the dry down on already, so I'll do a fresh spray. I'll do a fresh spray of Aventus later in the video. We'll compare the two. I asked my wife, she sort of tested it with me, and I let her smell it at different stages of the scent. And we're gonna determine, is this the best replacement for Creed Aventus? Because a lot of you guys love this scent. I'm gonna give you my opinion on it. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first thing that I was truly impressed with, and I wanna say I paid about $65, maybe 60, it's 105 mil. This one, I was really impressed with right off the bat. It came in this sort of pouch, this black sort of velvety feeling pouch, and the box. So here you have Club de Nuit Intense Man Limited Edition Parfum, and then on the back you have some of the ingredients. And I'm not a huge presentation guy, but when it's done well, I like to note it. Now, I'm a little disappointed it doesn't have a magnetic cap, and I gotta say, the bottle's a little cheesy to me. We'll get into that, but this piano black box that it comes in, very cool. So you can see the reflection in my camera there, my lighting, but very cool box, and just you open it up, and it's kind of lined with the same type of material that the bag that it came in, same type of velvet material. So really nice little cutout for the bottle. Really impressed with that. Unfortunately, we don't buy fragrance for the presentation. We buy it for the scent. At least the majority of us do. So the scent, let's talk about the scent. Here's the bottle. It's sort of a gunmetal gray bottle, which is a little different than your typical EDT Club de Nuit, which is a black bottle. What I think is super cheesy looking is just these sort of fake diamonds on the cap. You can see those there. And you get them on top. I don't know. I'm not crazy about that look. And then here, this sort of medallion hanging as part of the bottle. Not super crazy about that either, but there's a nice weight to the bottle. It feels of high quality. The look, though, not the greatest. So let's see the atomizer. Pretty good atomizer. I'm gonna spray some on skin. Okay, so immediately, right off the top, I do get the comparison to Creed Aventus. However, this one, it has a very strong lemon note when it first opens up. It's not particularly synthetic. It doesn't smell like toilet bowl cleaner to me. I know a lot of people say that about the original EDT version of this. Smells like toilet bowl cleaner, very harsh opening. Some say it's too harsh. They hate it for that reason. But if they stick around and wait 45 minutes or whatever the case may be, it gets much better. With this, in that powerful lemon, that sort of really citrusy, sour lemon that's right in your face. What I'm getting is more of a citrus than a fruitiness. I will say, you know, it's not the best opening, and I'm a bit biased because I'm comparing this to Creed Aventus. Let's face it, this is a Creed Aventus clone. It's a outright clone of Creed Aventus, so. But it has a creaminess to it. It's not very harsh. It's not overwhelming. As it begins to dry down, I do get a bit of the black currant in this and the birch. So it becomes a bit more fruity, and that birch starts coming through. Now, I have heard some say this is a smoky version of Creed Aventus, and I maybe Club de Nuit Intense, the original, but to me, the Parfum, and my memory of what the original is, this is closer to more current batches of Aventus than older, smokier batches of Aventus. So I guess the long and short of it is I don't get a lot of smokiness from this. As it dries down, it does become a bit more of soapy clean, and it can be more reminiscent of a household cleaner to me at that point. When I had my wife test this, the first thing she said to me was that she liked it. She smelled it. She said, it smells good. I like it, but it reminds me of something. And I said, well, what? I'm thinking it reminds her of maybe another fragrance that I've worn. And her answer was, it smells like lemon pine sol. I didn't have any pine sol in the house to smell, but that's what it smelled like to her. And she smells a lot of fragrances. I have her test a lot of things, and that was the first thing she thought of. So to ignore it and say it doesn't smell like a cleaner, it smells less like a cleaner to me when you first spray it, when that lemon is super strong. You're getting a lot of that lemon, and I actually like that. Once it starts drying down, there's sort of something in the background that is making it come across as a bit chemically, not synthetic, but almost like a chemical smell. And that's when I start to get some of that cleaner vibe, like household cleaner vibe from it. The opening into the mid, as it starts to dry down, opening into the mid, opening super bright lemon. As it starts to dry down, more of that chemical smell and undertone to it. But with that being said, it's still not bad. It's just a tinge of it that reminds you of household cleaner. Later in the dry down, it becomes a lot closer to what I would consider Creed Aventus. There are still differences that I notice. That sort of chemical smell, the synthetic lemon in the mid, starts to sort of round out, become smoother. It becomes a bit more soapy, tad bit fruitier, and just kind of your typical, Creed Aventus style fragrance. As far as projection and longevity, I got about 8 hours of longevity from it, and projection was really good for the first hour and a half. Now, let's jump to Creed Aventus, because when I first had my wife try Club de Nuit, I only had her try that. And then the following day, I had her try Creed Aventus and Club de Nuit next to one another. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to spray on Creed Aventus, talk you through the opening of that and how it compares to Club de Nuit. Okay, so when I spray on the Aventus, I get way less lemon, way more of that fruitiness. And so less citrus and more fruitiness right off the top. But comparing them side to side, and I didn't particularly think that Creed Aventus was a very natural smelling fragrance to begin with, but comparing it next to Club de Nuit Intense, it is, to me, a very noticeable difference in terms of not only the quality, that's sort of a overgeneralization, but the natural aspects of it. There's something green in Creed Aventus. There's something almost like leafy that I'm picking up, which makes that fruitiness smell more natural. So it's in combination with the fruitiness, the pineapple and the black currant. There's a tone of a greenness, a leafy greenness that I pick up in Creed Aventus that is less noticeable when I'm just smelling on its own. When I'm comparing it to Club de Nuit Intense, I notice the difference. So it comes across as more natural, and I would imagine you have to expect that. It's a $300 fragrance versus a $60 fragrance. So if you're just looking in terms of quality and getting your money's worth, in terms of natural leaning fragrance, the Aventus will win that all day. I have to say, I think that the smokiness, where neither one is particularly smoky to me. I've smelled older batches of Aventus. Those are smoky. I would say the Aventus is a bit more smoky than the Club de Nuit Intense. Now, one thing I do want to note is the fact that Creed Aventus, this I've had for about 7 months now, and it definitely, maybe longer, it definitely macerates. And I put a decent dent in that bottle. So you can see there's some air in there, and what that's allowing it to do is macerate. And I've been told, and I've heard, and I've read that the same thing has to happen with Club de Nuit Intense. So I don't want to make an unfair comparison where I'm trying a bottle of Creed Aventus that I've had and a newer bottle of Club de Nuit Intense Man. I am going to test this Club de Nuit Intense Man over the next few months and see if it improves. With that being said, it's a good scent. I like it. it is definitely going to remind you of Creed Aventus. There's no way around that. It smells like Creed Aventus. It just doesn't smell as good as Creed Aventus. And that's my personal opinion. Is it worth paying a little more money for the actual bottle of Creed Aventus? In my opinion, it's worth it, but I can understand if you're on a tight budget, this is gonna get you damn close. And this is closer to, as I said, this is much closer to current batches of Creed Aventus than I would say older batches. I don't get all the smokiness that some people have mentioned with this scent. I just don't. The birch in most cases is what's sort of causing that smokiness. And just smelling it right now compared to Creed Aventus, there's something in the Club de Nuit Intense also that's a little dirty. I wouldn't say funky, but there's something, it has an undertone to it that is a little animalic that I don't pick up in the Creed Aventus. When I had my wife try them next to one another, she thought the Creed Aventus, and she didn't know what was what when I was testing it. I didn't tell her that this was a more expensive fragrance. She thought the Creed Aventus was stronger, that it smelled stronger on my skin, that on the deep dry down, this got much closer to Creed Aventus. However, this was still way more noticeable. Creed Aventus was way more noticeable on my skin than the Club de Nuit. In terms of performance, in her opinion, and I would have to agree, I could pick up more of the Aventus than I could of Club de Nuit. Now that could be because this is a new bottle and I just need to give it time. Definitely possible. Is this the closest you're going to get to Creed Aventus? I can't say that yet. I guess my final thoughts are on Club de Nuit Intense, man, is that I want to give it more time. I'm not gonna say that it's not worth purchasing. If you're on a budget and you want to smell somewhat like Creed Aventus, it's definitely an alternative to Creed Aventus. With that being said, I'm finding that it doesn't get close to Creed Aventus until later in the dry down. So you're gonna have to wait a couple hours, really. It's tough to say. This is just one person's opinion. Hopefully this video helps someone. There are other alternatives in the Creed Aventus clone market. There's a ton that you can explore. But I wanted to do this one because it is a popular one. So I'm gonna give this time. Who knows, maybe in a month or two, when I go back to this and I wear it a little more, I might say, absolutely buy this instead of Creed Aventus. You don't need to buy Creed Aventus anymore. That's all I have today, guys. If you like what you saw, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video, hit that bell notification so you're updated whenever I upload new content. But until then, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.